Hi, this is just a quick video. It is almost 1:30. Sorry, I'll get it right. This is almost 1:30 in the morning. Apologies if you can hear my TV in the background. Now, I've had a lot of people obviously comment about all the videos I've been making about, personal independent payments and hidden disabilities, etc. Now, the reason why I'm up so late today is not just obviously because of my own illness and disabilities, but also because, as I've said before, I'm a full-time living carer, and my son, who I take care of, he's only literally just gone to sleep. So again, the biggest issue that obviously I have to sort of live with is the fact that we do come as a part and parcel, and it does get confusing and extremely stressful for both of us, because obviously I have to make sure that his needs are met, which means mine aren't always met. And again, when being assessed by the Department of Work and Pensions, they say, well, we need to assess you as individuals. So what are his needs? How does his disability affect him? And what are my needs, and how does my disabilities affect me? Well, one of the things that obviously affects both of us is sleep. Because of his his disability, he doesn't know how to sleep. And because of his age, his GP is very reluctant to obviously give me medication to help him sleep. And again, I don't want to be drugging my child to get them to go to sleep. But unfortunately, bless him, he just does not have an off switch. His brain is just working like 100 miles per hour all the time. Whereas with me, I want to sleep and I constantly feel tired. Part of that is obviously because of sleep deprivation. The other part is obviously because of being in chronic pain. Just constantly feeling like I've got fatigue. And yes, I do have medication to help me with these things. But again, I can't be drugging myself when I'm looking after my son. So, like I have had to say time and time again to my doctors, the medication you keep giving me, what it makes me want to do is sleep. And that's the only way that I can block out the pain, is by taking medication basically that makes me sleep. So in some ways it sounds really strange, but it's like being, not that I've ever been put in an induced coma, and from clinical experience, watching programs on TV and reading information, that people, even when they're in like what is called like a induced coma, they can still hear stuff. They just can't react to it. And even with my medication, if my son was to be shouting or trying to get my attention, I would wake up. But I'd be so disorientated and out of it that my response time to what he is expecting of me wouldn't be very coherent. So again, like I have said to my doctors, it's not that I'm not in pain. It's not that I don't want to take the medication you've prescribed. It's just some days it isn't possible to take it. Like with amitriptyline, for example, which I'm given to help me with joint and muscle pain. It's also obviously helps me to sleep. It again is a bit like an psychotic medication that they prescribe for people with certain mental health issues. If I was to take that now, it would take an hour before it worked. And then it would probably knock me out anywhere between 3 to 8 hours, if taken correctly. But I know my son, even though he's only just gone to sleep, he will be up again at 6 o'clock, jumping around, wanting to be taken care of, wanting to be stimulated, wanting to learn stuff, wanting to do things. And obviously has his, not just as his mum, but obviously as his full-time carer. I have to make sure that I am awake and as coherent as possible to take care of him. And bless him, he is the most happiest little boy in the world to me. And he is so sweet and so affectionate. And the first thing he always says to me in the morning is, "I love you. Are you in pain today?" And I will say yes. And he'll say, okay. Well, let's take your medication to make you well. And it's so sweet that he understands that I'm not well, but at the same time, he then will go, "Oh, no, you can't take it because it's your sleep medication for bedtime." And then I'll be like, "Yes, that's why you're supposed to go to bed at 8. And he'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mom, I'm sorry. Why didn't I tell you why I didn't want to go to bed till after 1 o'clock in the morning?" And it does frustrate me a lot because one of the excuses the Department of Work and Pensions gave me back in 2021 for refusing to allow me to claim disability, personal independent payments, was because their excuse was if you are disabled yourself, how can you take care of somebody else who is disabled? Well, simple. Loads of people who are disabled are actually carers for their loved ones. Providing, obviously, the disabilities that you have are different to a certain degree to the person you're taking care of. With my son, he has autism. He's got sensory processing disorder. We're waiting to hear back to see whether he's got ADHD. And the way his needs have to be met are completely different to my own. And it is frustrating because at times I would love to be able to do more with him, but at the same time, that's not always the case. And it is a shame, but I think one of the main reasons why I feel that, we would both benefit from additional support, if that could be given, would basically be to enable both of us to sleep. For him, obviously, I want him to have enough sleep to help him to obviously grow and develop, because that's very important for children. And for me, it's just so that I can have that sort of downtime to sort of recharge my batteries, I guess. So obviously anyone sorry, I can only apologise that the TV is on. So again, anyone who obviously is a full-time carer or, has somebody they take care of with an illness and disability, I think this is where, if things are going to change or improve, it needs to be looking at each person again as an individual and saying, okay, what do they need? What are their needs? And how can those needs be met? Because I agree, throwing money at people is not always the answer. It was just a mean to an end with the government to do like a quick fix. It was like, it's in a way, it's like trying to put a bandage. Sorry, not bandage. A plaster over a wound on a leg or, on a part of a body, and then say, oh yeah, no, that'll do. But not actually treating it. And then obviously, as I've said before, like with my legs, for example, they've just been allowed to kind of like fester because the incorrect treatment has been provided. And this is why, like, I'm sorry, I'm so tired. I'm trying to get my words out. Like I said, throwing money at people isn't always the best answer, but I don't think the government know what they're doing. They are not equipped enough, in my opinion, to know how to say, oh, with personal independent payments or disability living allowance, etc., we're not going to give people money anymore. We're going to try an alternative solution. Well, okay, but is that solution going to work? How long is that solution going to be viable for? So, one of the main things that I've tried to get help with has been what I would call respite for myself and for my son. And unfortunately, nothing has ever been provided. So if I'm not taking care of him, then obviously, he'll go to his dad's. But he is my responsibility. And I don't like having to allow other people to step in, because it just makes me feel like I can't do my job properly. But I would never say to him, no, you can't go and visit your dad, because they have such a fantastic relationship with each other. And I'm very lucky that my children still have that opportunity to have a father figure in their lives who, to a degree, would literally move heaven and earth for them. But again, works full time. So this is why I obviously am my son's full-time living carer, and why I homeschool him. But it is so mentally and physically exhausting to do that at times, especially when he doesn't want to go to sleep until almost 2 o'clock in the morning, which happens most days.